First, they give us two sides of the triangle, the opposite side and the adjacent side. We need to get the hypotenuse. To get the hypotenuse, we use the formula c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. Once we get the hypotenuse, we use it to get the functions. There are 6 types of functions. Sin, that is O divided by H. Cos, that is A divided by H. And tan, that is O divided by A. CSC is the opposite of sin, sec the opposite of cos, and cot the opposite of tan. Once we get the functions, we get the angles. By using the calculator, we know C is 90, so it's in quadrant 1, they are all positive. We use the sin in the calculator to get A and the data.
Here we have a perfect example of a right triangle using half a bread. The adjacent side at the bottom is 10 centimeters and the opposite side is 11 centimeters. The hypotenuse we don't know, so we use a theorem to get out the hypotenuse. The functions of SOHCAHTOA is sine opposite over hypotenuse, but you can't have a root at the bottom, so you multiply the root at numerator and denominator to get rid of the root. And then cosine, that it's adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, that it's opposite over adjacent. And then the reciprocals, it's cosecant, secant, and cotangent. To get the angles, we know that angle C, it's 90 because of course of the right triangle. And since we're in quadrant 2, we use sine -1, and then put in parentheses the sign to get out angle B, that it's also to your theta. You add the angle B plus C minus 180 to get the angle A. Here we have the example of the shadow. The adjacent side is at the bottom, the opposite on the side, and the hypotenuse. We don't know the length, so we use the theorem to get out the length. To know the functions of SOHCAHTOA, sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse. You can't have a root at the bottom, so you multiply it by the root in numerator and denominator to get the answer. And then the cosine, it's adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, it's opposite over adjacent. The reciprocals are cosecant, it's secant, and cotangent. To know the angles, we know angle A, it's 90, and since we are in quadrant 2, it's sine, we use sine -1 and put in parentheses the sine, and to get angle B, and then add angle A plus B minus 180 because we know it's a triangle to get angle C.
First, we get the opposite side and the adjacent side, and we need to get the hypotenuse. So to get the hypotenuse, we use the formula c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. Once we get the hypotenuse, we get the function sin, that is O divided by H, cos A divided by H, and tan O divided by A. C, sec, and cot are the opposite of the first ones. Once we get the functions, we get the angles. By using the calculator, we already know that angle C is 90 degrees, and it's on quadrant 2. So we use the calculator sin, and to that we add 90 minus 180.
Created using Powtoon.